Hey, good Tuesday morning, my friends. I'm Live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrosa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. Some of you checking in and you had a decent rain. There were some patches of decent showers around. Let's see who we're hearing from. We're hearing from Lisa Collins. Says watery sunshine in Saginaw Township yesterday. The rain gauge hit 7/10 of an inch. That's usable. The water spout and the tornado in Antrim County, I've got a story up about that, very photogenic and interesting situation. I'm going to talk about that. I have a difference in philosophy with the Weather Service, National Weather Service. They seem to have changed their tune over recent years in that, we always said that if it's a tornadic situation and a tornado develops, and then it moves across a lake, it doesn't instantly become a water spout. A tornado doesn't turn to a water spout over the lake. It's a tornado over the water. Because water spouts are created by a totally different, lesser severe situation. So let's get on into it. And say hi to folks that are just joining us. Jenny Steele, are you out there this morning? And John, good morning to you. So let's take a look. What we're going to see today is a blossoming of some rain showers in the south central, southeast part of the state. I'll show that to you in just a moment. We do have some scattered showers roaming through the Saginaw Valley area. Yes, in my mind, it's still the Saginaw Valley and the Saginaw Bay, not the Great Lakes Bay region. There is no Great Lakes Bay. All right, so look at the satellite picture, and what I want to point out is the bright white swirling clouds down to our southwest, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, back into Colorado, Wyoming. That's a storm system. That's a spinning storm system, and as a result, we are going to be tracking that, and it's going to be heading toward the northeast and probably a glancing blow over the southeast half of the state. So let's get into our modeling and show you first off the blossoming of the showers expected this afternoon, and I'll show you where it's going to turn what I would call wet. So here's the radar forecast. Now remember, this is weather fantasy. This is what's going to happen into the future. This is modeling. Modeling of its highest order, by the way. A lot of variables in this. So here we are into 3 this afternoon, 4, 5. So really it's a dry day, and then as we go into the evening hours, this is 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight. So in the evening, let's call it 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, the showers blossom from Saginaw down into Ann Arbor and all of the Detroit area and Jackson and around the northeast. So, hopefully everybody's seeing me properly. Everything look okay? I'm monitoring the YouTube feed and it's a little bit iffy. Shows like it's staying on me while I'm actually on the maps. All right, let's just look at that same model. Now we're getting the new run. Now we're getting the 12Z, the 8 o'clock run. And let's go through. This is the total precip. All right, there we go. Yeah, you're good. You're seeing me. And this is the precip this evening expected. So you can see the yellow, that's an inch. Spotty inch amounts, surrounded by spotty half-inch amounts. And, other areas, not much. But the concentration of the rainfall this evening comes Ann Arbor to the Detroit area. All right, now we move on. I like this. This is the high resolution ensemble total precip forecast. Remember, the ensemble puts a lot of the high resolution models together and averages them. And what it does is this evening, it does, you know, a quarter to a half inch in a lot of places. Even does it around Grand Rapids. A little skeptical about that as far as that heavy around Grand Rapids. And then remember, that second storm system coming toward us, a lot of things are showing that in the thumb and in the southeast from Ann Arbor, the Lansing area, southeast into Detroit, that's where the concentration of the rainfall will be. This is almost like what we got coming someday. This is almost a forecast like a snowstorm, where we're on the backside of the storm and how much precipitation falls. Now, this is the European model, also in the ensemble mode, and I take it all the way through today's showers in the southeast and tomorrow into Thursday's rain. And what it says, on average, 51 tweaks of this model are coming up with an inch of rain from Ann Arbor to the Detroit area, up into the thumb, into St. Clair County, up into Sanilac County, and then tapering as you go back to the north and west. By the time you get to Grand Rapids, it's a half inch. Saginaw Bay City, 3/4 of an inch. By the time you get back into the really dry areas, Muskegon, Big Rapids, whatnot. Chris, you had some rain over the weekend. You're only looking at a 1/4 inch, and you get to Traverse City and you're looking at maybe a half inch or so. And hey, let's just run this out because we have the ability. Let's run this out to 16 days, and I don't see much additional at 16 days. Bear in mind that an ensemble of 51 tweaks, as we get out to 16 days, it will always have some of those 51 tweaks having some precipitation. So it's always going to build up some precipitation. But if you don't see a lot additional in 16 days, you know that it's just a few one-off runs of this. So in other words, it's going to stay pretty dry. Now, here's the European model. We use that not for short-term convection and thunderstorms, but longer-term storm systems. And there it is. This is the run from overnight. You see the storm center down in Indiana, and these are 6-hour rainfall amounts. And then you see it, this is Wednesday afternoon into evening. So what this model is trying to tell us is that in the afternoon tomorrow, we'll see what I'm calling the southeast half of lower Michigan blossom into some decent showers. Saginaw to maybe not, probably not Grand Rapids, but Saginaw to just south of Grand Rapids and into the southeast. Then this is Wednesday night. It brings the storm center to Lake Erie. One thing we may have happening here is that the western end of Lake Erie is so warm, that's rising air off of it and moisture, and that's kind of a magnet for storm centers. So there we go into Thursday morning, and then it rotates off and the showers wind down on Thursday. So it's a tale of two weather patterns, really. Wednesday night, maybe Thursday morning, the southeast half is wet, and the northwest half of lower Michigan, Traverse City northward, is dry for the most part. When you get into the cyclonic flow around that, you can get a spotty shower, but I think that's a little overdone at this time of the year without any cold air behind it. And then we go into Friday. This is Friday night, maybe a brief little shower in the north. Saturday's system swings through the UP, but not through lower Michigan, and right now the weekend is looking very nice. And I can tell you that I've taken another drive along M115, US 10 and 115 from, say, Midland Bay City up to Cadillac, and the leaves are starting to change pretty quickly in some places. I would call it like 25% color. I don't think there will be much additional color, but it's starting to change. And now we're out into October 1st and October 2nd and October 3rd, and we are still dry. Okay, so I talk a lot about this with you. Ensemble versus, meteorology calls it the deterministic mode. Meaning, you know, I always call it the single best starting circumstances is what we just looked at. But now we look at the ensemble of that storm system off of the European. So 51 tweaks of it averaged all together. Did we get a bogus reading off the deterministic and all the others say something different? Or are they all kind of averaging? And that's what I'm going to show you. What it comes down to is the average of these tweaks also shows a nice rain into the southeastern half, southeastern third. So we're looking at the European ensemble, and we're going into tomorrow morning. Let's see if you can see this nicely. Yes, you can. Okay, let's see here. Oh, let me back up. So tomorrow morning into early afternoon, tomorrow afternoon into evening. So it has the storm center in western Ohio, not as strong as what the deterministic did. That looked kind of odd, but it still takes that storm center to the western Lake Erie, and it's starting to make a light bulb go off in my head, that warm western end of Lake Erie, you know, oftentimes still 80 degrees, I'd have to look, is a magnet for the storm center, and then the rain comes with it. This is Wednesday night to 8 a.m. Thursday, then 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday. So it's saying the thumb is showery and maybe a leftover shower elsewhere, and then it's saying by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, it's winding down, a leftover shower in the thumb. But Thursday generally could be considered a dry day for the rest of Michigan. And we run this out. We're in the ensemble still, so you know, it's the idea here is that after we get through the Thursday rain, we don't have much, and I'm out into October 3rd now, and we still see no real strong cold front coming through. Is it too late for November harvest crops? Lisa Collins. I don't think so. All right, so today we're near 80, Ann Arbor, Detroit, 75, Saginaw, 74-ish, Grand Rapids. You get to Traverse City in the upper 60s. You get to Burt Lake and Indian River, and you're looking at high temperatures about 68 degrees. And then tomorrow, near 70. Thursday, near 70. Friday, back into the upper 70s. Friday, Grand Rapids, cool or warm. Warm. Afternoon temperatures, mid-70s on Friday. Saturday, mid to upper 70s a lot of places. Sunday in the 70s. Monday, 70s. Tuesday, 70s. Sounding like a broken record? When you don't have a cold front coming through, you don't change the air much. Temperatures in the 70s. This is October 2nd. This is October 3rd, October 4th. A cool down that we were looking at, I think it just evaporated. October 5th, October 6th, October 7th. So we don't see a change. Now we look to the upper airflow, and you'll see the ridge builds back. So here's a little bend that's causing the rain the next couple of days. That shifts onto the east, and as we get into, there's our little disturbance way to the north that probably will not bring any rain on Saturday. And then here comes the ridge again. Remember, the red means that the atmosphere is expanded, warmer than normal. We're at Tuesday, September 30th, and we're at October 1st. And is there any change in the upper airflow? These storm systems try to come at us, and they just get kind of encased in the warm upper airflow. This model, far out, but this model wants to develop a tropical system, but again, these models have a tendency to do that at this time of the year, 15, 16 days out. And there you're at October 7th, and we are still not in the 80s, but we're still probably in the 70s. And I thought I'd show you that this is the surface temperature anomaly. So what you're going to see is pretty much all orange and red, meaning that our temperatures stay warmer than normal. This is Saturday, and this model is going for 15 degrees warmer than normal on Saturday. This is Sunday. And again, October 1st, you can see some days where we might be 5 degrees cooler than normal. October 5th, October 6th, October 7th, October 8th. We're still way above normal, and the experts that look at a lot of tools, that's the NOAA extended forecast, agree. 6 to 10 days, strong chance warmer than normal through October 2nd, and a strong chance of drier than normal. 8 to 14 day, strong chance still, not as strong, but warmer than normal. Still a slight lean toward drier than normal. So this is the time of year where I consider us starting to lose touch with reality. Because remember, the sun is going lower every day, so it's got less heating power, less direct sunlight to us. So our average high temperature is going down about a degree every 2 to 3 days. But when the weather doesn't respond because of the strongest climate change signal we have, warmer falls in the Great Lakes and in the Northeast, Eastern U.S., when the weather doesn't respond and cool down, we tend to think that, you know, we should still be in the 70s and 80s when the normal high keeps continuing down into the 60s. So when we're talking 70s here for the next, many days, for the next 7 to 10 days, we're starting to change to odd weather, if that makes sense. Water the trees and shrubs that you've just planted. I'm doing the same. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. And I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a great day. Bye.